everyone. You know what's going down when I've got my hair pinned back just a bit so that we can try some new makeup. I have a handful of goodies here that I'm just so excited to try. Just some new stuff, refreshing my makeup collection a bit. And so I would say about half of it's high-end stuff, half of it's drugstore, some brand new launches, and a couple of things that I don't know that they're like crazy new, but they're new enough, like I haven't tried it or I haven't heard anyone talk about it. So let's just dive right on in. I hope you've got your coffee, tea, water, whatever. First thing I want to try is something I did just get in PR from NARS. It is the Soft Matte Primer. I was just watching Andrea Renee, who I freaking love. I love her whole vibe, and she just did a Target haul recently, and I literally caught myself adding like everything she talked about to my cart. I haven't checked out because I'm like, Jessica. But yeah, she's like one of those people I watch that she influences me like crazy. But she was mentioning this in a recent video and she really is liking it. So I'm like, okay, I want to try it. So I like the packaging. I've always liked that NARS's packaging is super simple. There's something about it that when I saw it, I was like, ooh, I like that. So it says, after skincare and before makeup, apply a small amount to the face or desired areas using fingertips. Okay, I want to look up, like, is this supposed to be pore filling? So it says, transformative primer creates a smooth canvas for makeup, helps to control the appearance of shine and balance skin in any climate. So it's definitely going to be more mattifying. Y'all know I like glowy skin, but I'm not against matte skin. And I will say, boy oh boy, like worse than ever, my nose has been like greasy. And I definitely lean towards drier skin, normal to dry, and I have for a long time. But when it comes to my nose, it is not dry. Although, see, I say that, it gets so oily, but then I'll have like dry patches from time to time here. So would it technically be combo? I don't know, man. All I'm saying is I need all the help I can get there. So I'm hoping this will help. Gosh, it almost looks like a sunscreen. You know what I mean? But let me just kind of blend it down here. Yeah, it blends in pretty quickly. It looks like you don't need a lot because otherwise you're just going to be moving it back and forth and it's not going to like sink in. You know what I mean? And you know what? NARS is pricey, but I'm willing to, you know, if it were my own money, obviously this was sent in PR. And I try to look at it with as clear of a lens as I can. But primer is something that if I actually felt like it worked, I'd be willing to spend a little more money on it. Like one that I really like is from Peter Thomas Roth, and it's in this purple packaging. I'll have it right here. I've loved it for years because it's super pore filling. It's the one that I like really trust on my nose and in my T-zone. And that one's expensive, but I have bought that with my own money and I repurchased it because I do think it actually works. So, you know, that's kind of where I stand with that. I don't use primer every day because I don't always notice a difference, but some of them you really do. Okay, I got it all cleaned up. So let's just do, I've already put on vitamin C and sunscreen a couple hours ago. So I just got this much up. Even that might be too much, but let's just kind of focus it in the middle of my face because I don't know that I really need it like out here because usually makeup sits just fine, but definitely this area. I'm just gonna compress it in. There's no like discernible smell or anything. It kind of feels hydrating. Now that I'm kind of feeling it, it doesn't have that like silicone feel that a lot of kind of more mattifying pore filling primers do. So that's kind of interesting that it actually does feel kind of moisturizing. I think it made my skin look a little matter there. Matter, more matte. What do you guys think? I can't tell. It feels nice. We're gonna see if it makes a difference. And this is one of those things I'll try for obviously a while longer because we're gonna be trying a new foundation today. I'm the worst scientist ever, but anytime I pair a new primer with a new like foundation, it's two variables. And so you always kind of wonder like, well, did this not work well because of the primer or just because of itself? So we'll keep playing with all of them. But the next thing we're gonna try is one I've heard Taylor Wynn talk about, but now that I'm saying that, I think she liked it a lot, but I don't know that I fully watched that video. I need to go back and see because we tend to like a lot of the same face products. We don't always agree on everything, but we agree on a lot. So I'm just curious to try this. So this is the Essence Pretty Natural Hydrating Foundation. It says it's with hyaluron and aloe vera. So what's the difference between hyaluron and hyaluronic acid? Oh no, it says with hyaluronic acid and aloe vera, long wear, natural coverage, natural finish, weightless feel. We're gonna try it. I have 30 neutral ivory, no idea. Buying it online, baby. I was just purely guessing, so I'm hoping. That looks like it'll be probably pretty good. We're just gonna find out. So I'm just gonna kind of dive in and just put it on one side of my face and we'll just blend it with my sponge and see. I love kind of comparing like just half and half because I do have some freckles and redness. Nothing too crazy, and I don't mind seeing my freckles, but it's always interesting to see like, okay, that was one layer of that. How does that look compared to just my skin? Because my cheeks pretty much look the same cheek to cheek. You know what I mean? What do you think? I definitely am gonna put on a second layer, which I do with many foundations. That's no big deal. Let me put some on my forehead here and just kind of see. It's not thicker. It's not a thick at all foundation, but I want to try it with a brush next because that's one of those things that I feel like could make a difference. And even though I don't love brushes, sometimes some foundations just work so well with a brush. And a sponge is always gonna shear out the coverage just a bit. But I don't think it looks bad. I definitely feel like that primer is making my skin look matte. I haven't seen my skin like this in a while. And it's kind of weird to be pairing a hydrating foundation with a mattifying primer. So I will be curious to try this Essence one alone, just like on top of a glowy sunscreen or something like I typically would do. It's almost weird to see my skin looking matte. I haven't seen it like this in a hot minute. All right, so we're gonna use this Haley's Beauty brush because quite frankly, it's one of the few foundation brushes I've tried that like I like. And we'll just do the cheek first. I just cleaned all of my makeup brushes. Y'all, I feel so accomplished. I actually vlogged about, I mean, that sounds like a super boring vlog. It's part of a much longer vlog about other stuff. I was joking in that, but it's true. Like that is one of my most dreaded tasks. But when I get it done, it never takes me that long. I just dread it and I put it off. But when I'm done, I just feel so freaking accomplished, like I conquered Mount Everest or something. So I do think it, you know, no surprise, has a little bit more coverage with the brush. It's not noticeably that different though, so I don't think you like have to use one versus the other. I'm gonna put a little more on my nose. It always needs it, and my chin. I don't know with this brush, if you were looking for like a foundation brush, I really do like it. It's really soft too. You could use it for like cream bronzer as well, just based on the size. It doesn't say what it's called on this brush. It really is pretty good. I've tried a lot, y'all, of foundation brushes, and this is one of the few that I feel like doesn't typically make my makeup look streaky. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking for a new one, Haley's Beauty is typically not terribly priced. I really do think I'm gonna like this more on my second try, probably tomorrow, when I do it on top of just a moisturizing base, because it's just weird for me to see my skin mattified. I don't know that this primer is gonna be for me, even in my T-zone. I think the only place I will probably continue using this is on my nose or with a crazy glowy foundation. Like I don't have this foundation anymore, but I feel like, what's that one that was like so comically glowy? It was just too much for most people. The Josie Maran Vibrancy one. If I still had that, I'd be very interested to try that with this because this is super mattifying. Well, at least I feel like it is. And that one is so glowy. I'd be curious how they work together. But just the foundation alone, like comparing the two, I'm definitely enjoying this. I will pop a little update down in the description box of how this has worn since trying this here. Because obviously this is being filmed a couple days before I'm gonna make it live. So I'll try this a little bit more and I'll update you down below with my more finalized thoughts because I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, but I just don't love how mattifying this is made. My skin, I should have known. Sorry, y'all. So now we're popping over to Lancome. This is their Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. So I think the idea of this is obviously you can use it as your under eye concealer, but you can use it everywhere. In my head, kind of like Shape Tape. Like people will just use Shape Tape as foundation, you know? Kind of put it where you want it, blend it, and that's it. I feel like that's kind of the idea behind this. You can use it wherever you want, on your face, under your eye, whatever. I have the shade Bis W. I'm assuming it stands for like a word like biscuit or something. I'll figure out, or maybe just bisque. I'll write down below for sure what this shade is. I'm already excited because it's a little bit closer to my skin tone. It's not too light, which y'all know I like. I know I'm a broken record. The doe foot is interesting. I don't think I have a shape like this. It's kind of pointy, but still rounded. I'm assuming this is like pretty good coverage. So yeah, because all my brushes are clean, I feel like a new woman. I'm like, man, I've got like all of these clean brushes. I haven't had clean brushes in a long time. This is the Morphe M173. I had this one from Sephora that was literally the exact same shape. That whole line was redone, discontinued, blah, blah, blah. So I could never find the exact one to link for you guys, but this is exactly like that one. Okay, I'm really enjoying the concealer. That blended in so fast. Like, look how bright that looks and covered versus that. And it was super lightweight. I'm gonna zoom you in and hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm seeing. I don't like where the concealer is meeting the foundation. That could be the fault of the primer because I didn't put the primer like right under the eye. So it could be where it's meeting where the primer was, you know? Could be just this mixed with the foundation. But the concealer on its own looks really pretty too. So why don't I do an entire little text update down below on a couple of these. I'll try to use these more over the next few days and let you know how these perform with other products. Because obviously, you know, I do feel like it blends really fast though, which is awesome. That's what I'm looking for. Because honestly, when I'm putting on concealer, I don't want to spend forever. And it could be that I use too much. Let me actually blend the rest of this with the sponge. Just see how that does. But it did, I mean, that covered a decent amount, like a lot. I think the sponge made it look a little better. I have a feeling this is a long wearing concealer though too, because of the way it did set down. It's probably not gonna budge very much, which is always ideal. So I'm enjoying it so far. Like I said, I'll update you on all of these down below, but it gives me the look I like on my under eye. Like it's covered enough. Like I said, I'm curious to see if it's long wearing, but yeah, it's definitely mixing really weird there. I hate that look. Next thing, this is one I've been holding on to for a while and I just hadn't tried. It's from NYX and it is their The Brow Glue. I like the packaging. I like that it's like in a little squeezy tube. I'm gonna bet though that this is gonna become a really weird color over the next year as I use this because, you know, it's clear, it's gonna be touching some pigment. So I just threw in the e.l.f. Wow Brow and Neutral Brown in my brows. So the way that I typically use clear brow gel is to hold my brows in place. The Wow Brow does pretty well, but I don't know, man. It's like I'm snuggling with my toddler and my dog and I just feel like my brows start getting weird throughout the day. So I like using a clear brow gel, but I like one that has a really strong hold. I don't even care if it's crunchy. Now this says that it's non-sticky. The finish is non-sticky. It's transparent with a precise spoolie for easy application. So we're gonna give it a try and just see if it kind of holds them in place. I was talking about in my PR makeup, like best and worst video, that this is a really nice small spoolie. But I was talking about in that video, the Kosas, which is way more expensive than this, the Kosas Air Brow, their clear one, does not have like any hold. And so I just feel like I'm just wasting my time when I use it. So that was definitely a fail for me. But like some people like that like more touchable, movable brow. And so you might like that kind of thing. But for me, I'm like, why even do that step then? So let me let this dry down. Still feeling a little sticky. All right, it's been about 4 minutes. What's funny is, you know, I was just like scrolling through Instagram while I was waiting. And right when I touched it, it literally feels super sticky. And I've never had a brow gel that feels sticky. And what are the odds when it literally says non-sticky transport? Like that is their claim here. And it all feels sticky. Why would they put that on there? If they know it's sticky, just don't put it on there. Just be like transparent and holds the brows in place. Like, I don't, it's not like a deal breaker for me, but that's just funny. We'll see by the end of the makeup look if they're still sticky, but it feels sticky. But the brows don't feel like they're moving, baby. They really don't. I'm trying to like move them and they're, I mean, a little bit, but so hold wise, which is what I'm looking for, this feels pretty good. We'll see. All right, more minutes have passed, maybe like 10 minutes total. They are no longer sticky, but they are staying in place. They do have that kind of like hairsprayed feeling. Like I said, that does not bother me at all. No one's coming over and like touching my brows. And quite frankly, I'm not really touching my brows that much throughout the day, so it doesn't bother me. But if that is something that would bother you, I mean, this might not be the one for you. Moving on to the next thing, I obviously threw on some eyeshadow. I used the new packaging of the Persona Identity palette. I was kind of like, what do I want to do? So I put some, like a mixture of the shimmers on the lid, and I used a little bit of these in the outer corner. But then I ended up reaching into my Tartelette Juicy palette and grabbing this like pinkish shade. I guess you can't even really tell, but I don't know. I just am not loving the eyeshadows together. I mean, it has been a couple years since I've like regularly used my Persona Identity palette, but just color shade wise, I'm not sure that this is really, I don't know, man. I don't know. But the formula is still the same. The formula is really, really good. So if those are shades you would like, then you would like it. So the next product we're gonna try is brand spanking new. This is from IT Cosmetics and it's their Hello Lashes Plus mascara. The packaging's kind of cute. I like the light pink. Like every mascara nowadays looks like this, okay? So it's not that big of a deal. but these are the kind that I always poke myself in the eye with. Now that is like total user error, whatever, so that's on me, but yeah, that's all. So I'm going to brush through my lashes. I've noticed since I've been using a lash serum regularly and my lashes are growing, they are all kind of growing in different directions. So the step of like brushing through them really does make a difference in the way my mascara ends up looking. And this is like, I want to say $12 or $13 on Ulta. I can link below. I just love this lash comb. Again though, you do need to be careful because it's like freaking sharp, man. You're putting it near your eye. So let's curl the lashes as well. The claims on this one are you get instant volume and conditioning from the mascara, has a built-in conditioning lash serum infused with biotin. There's argan oil and jojoba oil, 360 degrees lash wrapping brush, smudge-proof formula, gentle removal for less lash loss. It's a tubing mascara. It's a tubing mascara. How did I miss that? So with tubing mascaras, I really like them. You just use warm water and they literally come off in little tubes. The idea that always freaks me out, but it's not actually freaky in actuality, I promise. Because really they don't look like little tubes, they just look like mascara flakes, like when you're rinsing off. Anyway, I was picturing like perfect little tubes coming off, and the idea that is so gross to me. I love tubing mascaras and I love the idea that this is supposed to like condition your lashes as well.
I think I know how low I could go low.
So the brush itself is flexible. That's not a personal favorite for me because I like to like really get at the base of the lash. And so when it's nice and firm, that's what I like. But some people really like the flexible. So just know that it is that kind. So far it's looking really nice though. The one thing to know about tubing mascaras is typically once they dry, it's not one that you can like layer another layer on. So like I try to make sure within that first minute or two to get it exactly how I want it, because you're not gonna be able to like go in a few minutes later with another coat. You know what I mean? But these are the kinds of formulas that like, man, you are not gonna have smudging, you are not gonna have flakes. Like these kinds of mascaras just don't do that. They just don't. Like it's like not possible. Some kind of magic, man. That looks nice. And that wasn't hard. I mean, that was, I never know how many coats to say it was because I'm like, I just kept going and going and going. So but I feel like that looks exactly like I like my lashes to look most days, where it's super volumized, super black, and assuming, I mean, this is the tubing mascara, so it's gonna last really well throughout the day. So again, this will be one I'll update you on how it wore, the removal, and all that down below. You're gonna be tired of hearing me say that, sorry. So let's do the other side really quickly. The only note I have for this is I wish it was a firm brush. Like I think, they should all just launch like, okay, this is a flexible brush version and this is a firm brush version. I'm probably the only one in the world that cares. I do care though. But formula wise, this is really nice. I really like the way this all looks. What do y'all think? I think that looks really nice. So this next product is, it's a bronzer. Or so I thought it was when I ordered, I should say. One of them is, so it's from their supercharged line. It's their cheek and lip multi-stick. So I have 180 Power Highlight, which looks darker than it actually is. It goes on totally clear. But it also doesn't really have shimmer. It's just odd. So the other one though is in 160 bronze voltage, and it definitely has a punch. But when I was kind of messing with it, it blends out really quickly. These are just odd. I think there's a reason people aren't talking about them. Now I've tried their blush version of this. Let me rephrase, one of the shades of this that's more of like a blush for me. And I like it pretty well, but it is dewier, so you have to like, it's not gonna be a long wearing product. So let's just try it like this. I'm trying to decide, maybe we'll do a brush. I'll use my e.l.f. Putty Primer Applicator. It's really good for cream bronzer because I don't want it to totally blend away, but we also need to like blend it. I can tell you right now, I don't like it. It's just, if I blend it the way I would normally blend other, it just like almost blends away. And it's already moved the makeup underneath. So I just think these are too oily. And so you can't really get, you know what I mean? You can get a little pigment at first, but then if you blend it, it's not gonna be super long lasting. Like it looks okay, I don't think it looks terrible. But really that like redness you're kind of seeing is my face underneath. It's not like actually yeah, and on this side it's just gone. Let's try it again. Let's try it just with like a sponge. Now all my makeup is gone underneath it. You can see all my freckles. So I don't want to put any more of this. I don't like it. The highlight I'm not going to put on because it's just clear nothing. I don't get it. I really don't get it. That was a huge miss. I haven't tried something this odd and kind of bad from the drugstore in a minute. So I just threw on a bit of the Ulta little trio that I really like. I threw on the Pacifica Camellia blush that I love, just to kind of get things a little more evened out. So continuing on, the last thing I wanted to try is this lip product from Laura Mercier. So this is their Fresh Velour Extreme Matte Lipstick. So the shade is Fresh, I should say. And it looks like the prettiest like fall color ever. I really like one of their matte lipsticks that's in the same, I have dropped like 15 things today. I just drew all over my thigh. Anyway, I have already fallen in love with a lipstick from this line called Click. It's a beautiful red. So I'm excited to try another shade from this that's like super fall-y. So let me kind of get some of that lip balm off that I had. I just like that you can kind of use this to line the lips too, you know? Plus, it has this thing underneath where the little color was that you can kind of twist in there if you want it to be more pointed. You can kind of sharpen it in that way. Even with the like rounded tip, I don't find that I like need to use that sharpener. But it's such a lightweight formula. And for a matte formula too, I feel like it's kind of forgiving. Like it doesn't look or feel crazy drying. So I'm digging this shade. Honestly, comparing it to this, well, no, it does look about the same. I think I pictured this being a little bit lighter, but I still really like it. So I'm pumped about that. I don't think it's making my teeth look white. Sometimes berries can do that too, but digging that. I knew I already liked this line. If you're looking for a good red, definitely the shade Click is 2 thumbs up. So let me show you what this all looks like in natural light. I'm a little nervous. I feel like everything looks patchy because of that bronzer. Like, do not need to use that again, but my brows are staying in place really well. Love this lip color. The mascara, are you kidding me? Maybe the star of the show. Like seriously, that is so curled. I'm excited to use that some more. The primer and the foundation and the concealer, all three, I just don't know how I feel about yet because I definitely feel like my nose could use more coverage. And we did do 2-ish like layers of that, especially in my T-zone of like the foundation. And I still don't feel like it covered enough. So I'm gonna keep playing with those and let you know. But yeah, that's kind of, I wanted you to see this natural light because it does look a little bit different, you know? Alrighty, so all in all, what an interesting one. I feel like lately I've had a lot of kind of like these videos where I'm trying a lot of new makeup and I feel like, wow, like there's so much good. But this was definitely one of those that I feel very on the fence about quite a few things. And then like one thing that was just absolutely awful. So, you know, it is what it is. That's half the fun of this is, you know, I do love a lot, but then I do find things that just kind of suck or are just mediocre. So if you enjoyed this, I will definitely be doing an update speed reviews style video on these products and other ones I've tried that are new. I always do that a month or two after I've talked about them so I can like really share with you like, all right, now I know what's what with these. I can share my final thoughts. So I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you'll check out some of my other videos. I'll link some of my favorite recent ones down in the description box and up in that eye if you want. Did I do that? Or is it this eye? I think it's that one. Oh, geez. Anyway, I'll link some more recent videos there if you want to watch some more of them right now. And other than that, I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.